Hey, what's happening? It's Pete with Backdraft Bikes. We're checking out this brand new motorcycle, a classic 350. Stick around. So check it out. This is the 350 from Royal Enfield, made like a gun. This is their ode back to their World War I, World War II days, where they made so many motorcycles for unfortunate reasons. This bike here does start at 20 horsepower and it ends at 20 horsepower. So it's only a single cylinder 350. It's kind of what you see is what you get, but they're not really going after power, right? These are under $5,000 and they look cool. This is the factory. Nobody's put stickers on it. This is the way they come. Again, everything's kind of blacked out. Single cylinder, single spark plug. You've got a manual clutch cable, and everything is what you see is what you get. Single-sided rotor. I really do like the braced front fender and metal braced rear fender. Everything on these bikes is really metal. With that being said, just take a quick look at the dashboard here. You've got a multi-function display, which really isn't multi-function. This gives you your odometer, a trip meter, you have a fuel gauge, obviously a speedometer, but there's no tach. The controls on this bike are a little different than the other bikes as well, and there's a pillion seat that comes with it from the factory, which is kind of nice as well. I'm assuming you could take this off if you wanted to and change it up with a rack. I've seen people do that. So anyways, let's see how she does, shall we? Look at this thing. Single kill switch, and it starts. Hip hip cheerio and all that sort of thing. I feel like I have to speak British. Right-o, mate. Keep calm and carry on. Okay, I won't do it anymore. Okay, one more. Okay, I'll be quiet. It doesn't even feel like it's running. Wow. Not bad for a single cylinder. Not great, but not bad. Super smooth. So I'm just comparing this to the Himalayan and the Himalayan Scram that I rode. But both have the same power plant, and excuse me, no, that has a 411cc. So this is 349 cc's. But this is actually quite smooth. Not a lot of power, but not bad. Kind of reminds me of the Bonneville, but there's a little bit more room on this one, which I like. Indubitably, sir. I say, chap. Hey, we said no more British accents. So this bike is priced very reasonably. I believe around 6,000-ish. And designed to be a replica of the World War II era bikes that they sold. Single cylinder again, it's EFI. It's kind of got some streamlined controls. You can see on the handlebars. There isn't much going on as far as what frills this bike has, because that's not what they're going after. And as far as power goes and stuff too, they're not going after that. They're just going after a bike that you can get on and ride, and it looks kind of cool. The multifunction display, you just get trip, clock, and odometer. That's it. At least this does have a fuel gauge, which is nice. Not all bikes obviously have that. There is not a gear shift indicator either. So this is a 5-speed as well. I wouldn't say this bike would go much over 65 or 70, just judged on where I am now, and I'm in 5th gear. And of course, the power this bike has is not really existent, but they're not advertising it as such. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I talk a little bit about Royal Enfields. I've ridden every model in their lineup, and I have also ridden a lot of bikes. So I feel, being somewhat humble, I know I'm not the greatest reviewer in the world, but I feel like I have a pretty good pulse on, you know, what people are making for bikes and stuff. So Royal Enfield, look at that situation. Woo! Did you see that? Also, I missed my shift. There we go. So like I was saying, the Royal Enfield model, the two things that they really put their hat on: number one, we're the oldest motorcycle company out there that's been in continuous production. We've never stopped making motorcycles since the beginning. The second thing that they talk about a lot is the fact that they're the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. So they're based out of India. They used to be obviously UK. That's, everybody kind of knows that, especially from the name. And I may have given it away a little bit ago, Governor. See, I've broken my promise yet again with the English accent, and it's awful too, by the way. But anyways, they have been made in India, I think from like 1970-ish, sometime around there. And they're making, they do have new technology on some of the bikes and stuff, but a lot of the stuff is the same platform that's always worked, with the philosophy of it works, so why fix it? Obviously their motto on the motorcycles for years and years was they were built like a gun. Built like a gun. But that was because they originally got their start in a lot of gun parts and artillery, and I'm not actually sure about artillery, but they got their start in small arms, and then morphed into motorcycle manufacturing as well. So it was really the two great wars that saved them from going out of business, because the government asked them for, you know, thousands of bikes. So much so that they even moved their factory underground and even housed the workers underground in the factory, which is wild. Gives a whole new meaning to the work relationship. Anywho, this bike is the classic. They're going back to their roots with this bike. Almost everything on this is metal or manual. So you've got a manual clutch cable, you've got, you know, single-sided brakes. Everything is manual. It does have ABS, which is surprising, right? It's very surprising that this bike would have ABS, but that's kind of nice. No traction control, from what I know. And yeah, the riding position on this is very neutral. I'm 6'4". I have plenty of leg room. So I won't say it's like the most raked out bike, but I can scoop my butt back on the seat and get a pretty good amount of room. I can extend my hands all the way, and so I'm not hunched over. It's a very nice riding position, and I can see this clamp. Again, this clamp is not your average triple clamp looking deal here, but I could probably rotate the handlebars back a little bit if I had shorter arms. So that's very accommodating. The pegs are slightly forward, but they're very robust. I mean, it's like an actual real foot peg, and the shifter's right there too. So very comfortable to ride. Very, very comfortable to ride. I don't know. I really like the Himalayan models, but this bike is just cool. And it's not pretending to be something it's not. It's a single cylinder, small displacement, raw motorcycle. No windshield, cruise control, anything, nothing. No ride modes. Just get on it, start it up, shut up, and ride. Definitely not a lot of power, but what do you want, you know? A bike that's under 500 pounds. Yeah, I'm still here, buddy. Thanks. A bike that's under 500 pounds. A bike that is cheap to buy. Cool to look at. I mean, what else do you want? It's kind of cool. I can see this bike. I can see riding this bike, you know, for a road trip somewhere, but not, probably not getting on the interstate with it, because it's just not, this is just not fast enough, I don't think, to keep up. Not the way people drive nowadays. But, you know, a ride like this, beautiful. Why not? And it looks cool. It really does. I really like the foot controls on this. Neutral, I notice every time I've shifted, I've hit neutral. So I just would have to kind of remind myself of that if I had this bike, that you got to click through. It's not like a doesn't feel like a regular gearbox where you just click straight through it. It seems like it wants to almost double tap to get through neutral. But yeah, I like this. It's just a putt-putt. I mean, it's just, it wants to cruise. It's very easy to, very easy to ride too. Man, if this was like first bike, I mean, this would be perfect. Even if, not saying it's a first bike only. I mean, you could buy this bike and again, cruise around and have fun with it. It's just, it's nice and it's cheap. I mean, for under 6,000, somewhere around there, you're getting a new bike with a new warranty. That's pretty decent. And we thank Royal Enfield for letting us do this test ride today too. This is kind of nice. They don't do a lot of these. I was hoping to be able to break away from the pack and sling this thing through the corners, but actually, you know what? I'm okay with not doing that. The bike handles fine for the limited speeds that we're doing, but this is not a sport bike. I feel like I'm riding an old motorcycle, like an old antique, but it's quite refined. It's not all choppy. I have a 74 Sportster, and it kind of reminds me of that, but the Sportster is a rough ride. This bike is quite plush. The seat's very comfortable too. Put some crash bars on this thing. Maybe even put a sidecar on that I can put my barbecue in. That thing would die. That'd be mint. Mint! Yikes. So, I'll get on it a little bit here for you. This is full throttle. That'll give you a little bit of an idea about what we're looking at for power. It's just, your 0 to 60 is measured in minutes. But what a cool bike though. What a cool bike. And it's so comfortable. The riding position is so comfortable. I can just imagine in WW2 bombing around on one of these looking for, you know, Scooby snacks. It's awesome. They make this version, the Signal, I believe it's called. They make it in like 2 colors right now. I saw they make it in a desert sand color and then like a grayish color, and this is like a greenish color. So I don't know if this is just the brand new and they haven't released it yet, or maybe the sheet was off on its color description a little bit. But anyways, yeah, pretty slick. The EPA estimated miles per gallon on this is like 70, so it's an economical motorcycle to ride, obviously. Now, just thinking back a little bit more about the history, back to Royal Enfield, they did really well with a couple different models. They became really popular in Britain because I believe it's under 350 cc's you don't need a license for, or something like that. And so coming in at 349, it's perfect. They sold a ton of these bikes. Now they have other classics out there still making, but the modern classic, Triumph, for instance, is capitalized on that. Almost all of their modern lineup is modern classics, if you will, and that's the classic chassis with refined suspension, fuel injection, and the reliability that comes with a newer bike. So, yeah, it's pretty slick. I like the modern classic feel because you know, a street bike, even the classic cruiser Harley Davidson look, I'm not super into, but I do like the older style bikes, like the old Indians, Triumphs, BSAs. I like those. Unfortunately, I'm such a tall guy that most of those smaller bikes don't fit me very well, but this bike is extremely comfortable. And sans going on the interstate with this bike, there's not really anything to complain about. It really feels plush. It handles. The riding position is very comfortable. Probably the most comfortable out of all the bikes I've driven from Royal Enfield here. And again, you're not going to go wrong. You can't, if you can imagine, say, buying a brand new motorcycle for $6,000 and it actually looks cool versus, you know, what is a Harley Sportster model, one of the new ones, go for minimum. You know, you're going to be well north of 10,000 at least. Even with the Triumphs, think of a BMW like an R9T. I mean, you're talking a lot of money. So yeah, these guys know what they're doing. They got a niche in the market now for sure. I'd be curious your thoughts in the comments if you get a chance to let me know what you think. Have you driven one of these bikes? What were your thoughts on it? Do you own one of these bikes? I'd love to know the reliability of how long you've had it, because again, these things, there's a lot of them out there, and it appears that they seem to last a long time and have little problems. And when you do have a problem, they're very simple to fix because there's just not a lot of technology on it. So again, really an old school bike. But I'd be curious your thoughts. Shoot a comment down in the section down there in comment section and let me know. As always, I always appreciate your thumbs up and your likes. It helps keep this channel alive. And if you get a chance to hit the subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, my friends, ride safe.